We're in a probably the most noisy booth in here in E3. Dude, what are we looking at today?
We're looking at World of Warplanes. It is a very noisy booth today. The biggest problem we have is we are behind the wall that is actually happening out there. So every so often the floor in this room will vibrate and the sound will become so loud that we can't hear ourselves talking. So then we just shout. So if that happens, don't worry, I'll just keep shouting.
I'll learn sign language. I feel I need to learn sign language.
You'll hear it anyway, trust me, you'll definitely hear it.
But let's talk World Warplanes. You guys have been in production now for quite some time. What's the hold-up?
Well, the hold-up's been is getting it right. You know, we could have shipped it last year. Yeah, we took it to a lot of shows, got a lot of people playing it, got a lot of fans following it, but the problem was if it's not right, it's not right. And it doesn't matter how many times you look at it, you've got to make sure it's right when we ship it. And so consequently, we've been basically taking it to shows, getting feedback, getting beta people playing it and testing it, getting their feedback and tweaking it, improving it, making the graphics better, because we just want to make sure that when we do ship it, it's as the best that we could possibly ship. And it can only get better from that moment once we ship it, because like with World of Tanks, that has improved as it's progressed. And same with World of Warplanes. We have a level bar that we have to reach.
Well, what has been the feedback? I mean, I know we're only the second day of E3, but from yesterday, I mean, what's the new stuff you're hearing?
The new feedback is they really love the graphics. Yeah. They can see that we've really improved on the graphics and all the terrain models and everything that you're flying over. And the best bit is they like the action. They can see that we've worked hard on getting it right, because playing, flying games, is very difficult. And I'll show you by my hand on film. It's not like a tank where we're just going along the ground and we do that. With this, you're doing the banking and you're turning, like you can see on the screen there. It's that motion, and your players are playing also in that motion with the control mechanism, so they have to think slightly differently, and so therefore the game has to think slightly different outside the box.
Actually, a question about that. I mean, what is the fan base? Who are the fans of these types of game? I mean, are you surprised by the range of people you see coming up to the booth?
Yeah, we are. I mean, the thing is, we automatically assume that for America, this is going to be a massive game. Because Americans love their planes. In the war, historically planes were their big, they were their Hollywood for them. Yeah. For us, it was Spitfires. We had a small moment, but we had our most important moment with those. But we had lots of ground troops and lots of tanks, which is why tanks in Europe is a big thing. Tanks in America is always going to be historically struggle because they don't have the invasion mentality. But big ships, which we have coming, right, and planes, fits for the mindset of the audience for Americans. For everybody else, gamers are going to enjoy the plane games. There has been a lot of plane games coming out over the last 2 or 3 years, even on consoles, which proves there's a market for this, that people are eager to play flying games, because they're very, intense action. They're not like, like our tanks game, which is you slowly move around and blow things up. These things are, you're in the air, oh my God, I'm in the air, now I need to start racing and protecting myself and looking in every direction to make sure I don't get shot down.
Now, with that mention of competition that is out there, I mean, have you guys sort of had a look to see what they're going?
Yeah, of course we have. I mean, the joke is, right, I've been doing this job a long time, and my first game was Warbirds. Yeah, using 56K modems, right? We were local landline charges as well. It was a great idea, which is never going to work. Right, so like 19 years on, right, I'm now with a flying game, which has the internet making it work. It actually, unlike the system that we had, this one's is free-to-play model system, so you can play it as much as you like, and subscribe and pay for things you want as you progress through the game. It's actually down to the player, but it is. Flying games have been there for a long time, right from the beginning of the games industry. It's not a surprise that they are still keep coming back when everything else has fallen by the wayside.
Now, with tanks, with warships, with warplanes, you've got that shared account. I mean, we're saying there that you'll have probably specific fans for specific elements of those sort of battles and everything like that. But has that shared account important for you guys, not only to sort of unify the experience, but to sort of say to fans, look, maybe you should try out this. Maybe you should go naval whilst you prefer flying.
No, I tell you what it is, right? Which is why we're kind of making the universal system across all the, if you subscribe to tanks, maybe you might like to play planes, but we're not going to exclude you and make you pay again to join that campaign. What you can do is you can log on with your name, your details, and whoopie-dee, all your gold and all your experience is also going to be in planes as well. You will not be a top dog in plane on day one. You have to literally grind your way up and learn how to play it. But then, like in a few years' time down the line, you can go, I love my tanks. I love my planes. It's time to now go boats. And that transferring of your name all the way through our system, making it so easy to do, is genius. There's no bars. There's no kind of, oh, now I've got to re-register and now I've got to spend money to become part of this game. It's not. You literally just open your game account with your name and start playing in that world.
We were talking just before the interview about the design of the planes. You guys have went, measured everything, looked at everything. Now, one question about the guns. How have you guys made the guns sound authentic?
There's a lot of stock footage that you can listen to war sounds. There are experts who know what the sound of guns sound like. We also, as a company, we search out experts for everything. Because there are people out there that we can go to and go, so is this the right sound for a tank when it goes over a car? And this guy was in the Second World War, and he'll go, no, actually the thing that's missing is the last sound. And then we work with them to make that last sound. Gamers may not realize that that's how much work has gone into it, but for the people who were there and people who understand these things and people who are been in wars, not just the Second World War, but ones that follow, understand the sounds and the mechanisms of these things. So we're also, reaching out to them that this is as authentic as it possibly can be.
Well, where are you guys now with it? I mean, what have you got left to do? I mean, theoretically, you guys can keep tinkering and stuff like that. Surely you're going to have to draw a line at some point and go, okay, we'll do updates post-launch.
Okay, that thing about no glass ceiling? We have never reached the no glass ceiling. I mean, we've just announced that we have 60 million players playing, World of Tanks. 60 million is not a bad number, and it can always keep going up. My concern is, for the Xbox version, there's only 48 million machines out there. We will reach that ceiling very quickly.
Well, we're touching upon the 360 version. I mean, we've talked to you guys already in E3 about World of Tanks appearing there and stuff like that, but obvious enough, you've got 2 other games out there. Okay, they're still being developed and everything like that, but does it make sense to carry on the World of Wargaming to 360?
Eventually, but first we need to release. I mean, World of Tanks is the first one. It's a show, put our hands on the table and go, okay, we can make good console games. We can bring free-to-play to the console market, which is, it's very hard and very difficult because free-to-play has always been, really? It's going to be rubbish, isn't it? And this has always been the perceived view, which is why with a lot of the magazines and a lot of the websites, it's been an educational for them, watching how we have kind of moved the bar, basically, and now everybody is trying to catch up with us. Free-to-play can be brilliant. It also can be rubbish. Yeah, we have got it right, which is why our numbers are high, because people understand that we got it right, and that's why it's been with World of Warplanes, why it's taken so long to come out, is to make sure that we bring out the thing that's right.
And what, for the future, have you guys got on warships, or planes and everything like that? But I mean, have you guys thinking ahead past that point?
Do we are, but we couldn't say. At the moment, World of Tanks on Xbox for us is the next best thing. We've got to work that number now, yeah, and bring the audience in to, because they basically also have to be educated that this is a whole game and it's free, and that's quite an alien concept. Because normally you kind of go, well, here's your demo, we'll give you so many levels, but now you got to pay for it. Where we're kind of going, well, no, you can play as much as you like and never pay. You may buy a few bits and pieces, but it's down to you as a player how you play this game. And so, once that's been done, we move on to the next thing. But the next thing for us is World of Warplanes, and that's the PC version as well.
Well, the warships. When next time are we going to see that?
Warships. Right. What year are we in now?
I think it's 2013.
2013. So it won't be next year. It'll probably be the latter part of the end of next year. So that, yeah, because that has always been the window on that. It's always been that, long, because it's a big game to make. Again, it's like when we make tanks. you know, getting it right. But now, I mean, have you seen the presentation for it? Oh my God, you gotta go. Sorry, seriously, you have to go and see the presentation. It's the most amazing thing you've ever seen. And if you can film it, ask. It's wow. Sorry, wow. Sorry, wait, really wow.
Well, I'll leave you to your enthusiastic mutterings now. Thanks very much indeed for talking to us.
No, that's fine. Thank you very much for coming.